After a chaotic week in Virginia, the IMSA Vintage Series enters turn 2 of the season with 2 points leaders who have never been a top step before. As we drive on to the Montreal Lamb Chop this week, will Cortez and Valentius return to defend their wins, or will a new or returning crop of drivers jump to the fore to challenge them? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 2 of the IMSA iRacing Vintage Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lundgren, and with me in the booth is Craig King. Behind the scenes is our director, Ryan Bauer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve has long hosted Formula One and occasionally IndyCar, but this man-made island has host to many great races in history. To find out what makes it so special, let's head down to our track guide.
Welcome to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Host of the Canadian Grand Prix for over 40 years, this track's popularity among fans refuses to wane. Although it has gone through a few alterations in its history, the nature of its layout has remained pretty much the same. That nature, of course, is that its 14 turns are mostly chicanes, split up by long straights to add up to a 2.7-mile street course-like canyon of a track. These 4.3 kilometers are mainly made up of actual streets on the man-made Ile Notre Dame, though portions are specifically built for the racetrack. But whether or not fans consider it a true street course, the close barriers that line the majority of the track don't care what you think. Places like the exit of Turn 4 and Turn 9 frequently collect the greedy. But these pale in infamy to the notorious Wall of Champions. Named for its penchant to collect F1 World Champions, the corner itself is called Quebec. Regardless, it's a finicky and tight chicane with a critical corner exit, so drivers are tempted into edging the car as close as they dare to the concrete. Despite the numerous heavy braking zones, passing can be difficult at times for certain types of cars. Often, attrition or cut course penalties play a bigger part in who finishes where. While sports cars and NASCAR have both made stops here, this place is mainly known for its history with Formula One. Named after what is easily Canada's most popular driver in the International Open Wheel Series, this semi-temporary circuit looks like it's actually here to stay for a long, long time.
Well, Craig, this is an exciting race course at the best of times, but let's talk to the crowd about how the IMSA Vintage Series is going to handle this place around here.
Yeah, well, it's known for open wheel racing, and this street track is loved by all in motorsport. Now, these tight walls, they complement the four chicanes, with each one providing a different challenge. So for the GTPs, the Nissans will want to avoid all the curves that those chicanes provide. They will upset the balance of the car, and it will lift the car up. And when the drivers want to get on the throttle, when the car's up in the air, the rear will just want to go once it lands again. Now, they want to be avoiding aggressive shifting as well. Shifting down too quickly, you could lose control of the car as well. Timing is crucial. Now, for the GTOs, the Audis, they've got their own battles with the chicanes. Now, while they can take the curves with little effort, their biggest issues will be trying to slow the car down and not take the corners too fast, or they'll risk understeering off the track and maybe and hopefully not into the walls. So multi-class traffic today, it does sound like it wouldn't be a problem. But between each chicane is a stretch that is not straight. So the Nissans will want to take care of what lines they take to get past the Audis. Now, we know the Audis, they have to track out. But also, both classes have to be wary of the speed differences on the exit of all those chicanes. So, Adam, we've got a number of previous winners and champions here today. So the question really is, who will find themselves the unlucky person in the Wall of Champions? And also, as it's that time of the year, who will be getting their presents first? And who will be getting the lump of coal?
Speaking of the drivers who got their presents first, last week, the point standings are as they finished. Gio Cortez in the lead over Theodore Burns. Aitor Sintes Galindo, our first series regular, down there in third position with Matthias Hovdal tucked in behind him. Aaron Humphrey rounding out your top five. Javier Dalomo didn't have the best race in sixth. And then Eno Lewis in seventh. Our first driver from the second split with Lost Olsen in eighth and Fabian Jungluth in ninth and Alfonso Fernandez down in 10th. Craig, what about the GTOs?
Yeah, well, the GTO is kind of the same story as well. Valente just did win, so he leads the championship from Lescala. Gonna have to see the last time Lescala was not leading the championship. It's going to be the previous season. Cortanemi was third, of course, and Lundberg will be in fourth. Candelas is 5th, and then Ian Haycox will be 6th, and Jamie Hamill-Smith will be 7th as well. Ove Trengere took the 8th as well. Just look how close it is. Cam Porter as well, just in that second split, getting in there in 10th as well. It is very close, but of course, early doors. And the key thing here, Adam, a lot of the normal drivers, that's not a dig at the GTP drivers, but a lot of the regulars at the Audis at the top.
Absolutely. Now for the race details, we got a normal 40-minute race for these drivers, round 2 of 12 for them. They've got open setup so they can set up the car however they like or dislike, and they got no spare vehicle to play with, so if you hit those walls, especially the wall of champions, you're likely out for the race. Drive-through penalty at 17x, disqualification at 25x. I don't expect that we're going to see much of that today, but it's going to be interesting to see who can survive this race because we have 52 cars on track, Craig.
52, what a number. It is the biggest split we've seen in a while, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the drivers do as they're already out there. Here is the cameras. Hello, it's a little bit of a flashing Christmas palm tree there from Ian Haycox in the bottom. We've got Cam Porter and Doug Cloud just in the top. There it is. Do apologize if anyone does have a little bit of seizures or epilepsy. I do apologize, but it's just the way it goes. There's Cam Porter, and that is Doug Cloud. Valentasia's just coming to a rest after taking the fastest lap. Adam, key facts. Remember how last week he hit 9K? He's no longer 9K. Now, little birdie tells me he was doing some last to first challenges in other historic series, and it didn't go well for him.
Well, unfortunately, he's going to have to work back at it to try and get up there today. Lars Olsen has yet to take his qualifying time. He's on his first lap. Arcturus Kundelis is currently in pole position for the GTOs with Andreas Valenteius, as you said, in the GTPs. Back in the GTPs after racing GTOs last week and winning. He's going to see if he can double it and go back-to-back wins in different classes starting this week in the GTPs. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to jump to the top in the GTOs. Right now, it's Yuko Leskola who jumps to the fore in front of Noel Lundberg, who's about half a second behind him.
Yeah, we just see that Laus just taking as much of the curve as he can take before the car decides it's not going to go well for him. He comes into the hairpin. One of the things I like about the hairpin here is you've got all this runoff there. Look how much runoff you've got to just get on the throttle so quick and early there just to hold off. He's now going to come down the casino straight, and this is going to be probably the best / only overtaking spot at the track, but then you come down to the final chicane and it's so tight you cannot go side by side here, Adam.
No, you cannot. We've seen drivers give it a shot, and they've been able to make it through, but it really slows you down. Cam Porter finishing his lap in 10th position. Carlos Fonseca doesn't look like he's going to be heading out there. We do have Kurt Clapper, who's going to be joining us in the GTPs. He's going to be trying to take himself up to a decent position. Kurt just about to start his first flying lap, and with only 1:27 left on the board, he's going to be hard-pressed to make it to the end of this lap on time. He's going to have to run one of the fastest times of the day up there with Valenteius if he's going to finish this lap.
And with the way he takes the first couple corners there coming into Vero Senna, I don't think he's going to do it. He's already a second down, so I think this may just be a no bueno there for Kurt. Some drivers still going around to do their final lap. Lars Olsen is still out there with a minute to go as well. So some drivers just finishing up, but I think it may almost be ready. Here's Lars again. He is 8th after that first time. What can he do this time by? Very tight exit there on the hairpin. I don't know, Adam, if it's better to go narrow or wide on the exit there with all that runoff.
It's narrow for these GTPs and GTOs because of how challenging it is to get the power down. We've seen drivers try and do over-unders throughout that corner, and they never succeed. But here we go with Lars Olsen coming through the Wall of Champions. A decent lap so far, 4/10 up provisionally on our timing screens. He's going to cross the line. And let's see what kind of a lap he puts in. It's a 1:22.772. That's going to move him up to 5th position, and he will be the last of our drivers to cross the line with a starting time. So that will take us to the grid, and we got quite a grid to go through. It's going to be Andreas Valenteius up on pole position, the GTPs this week. Theodore Burns, last week's winner, in 2nd position next to him. Alexander Van de Sant joins us once again, lines up in 3rd position with Farron Grau in 4th. Row 3 is Laust Olsen and Fabian Jung with 2 regulars of the series with Aaron Humphreys, and Javier Del Olmo tucked in behind them. The rounding out the top 10 is going to be Brendan Lim and Shady Ahmad, with Alec Campbell starting off in 11th position. Jack Wells in 12th. 12th, with Hamilton Barrera Ruiz in 13th. Joining him on row 7 is Martin Krajcik, with Gaston Santarelli in 15th on row 8. Alejandro Martin de Miguel is going to join us in 16th position, with Logan Edwards and Romain Bello on row 9. Row 10 is Ivan Enrique Pla and Daniel Perez Hoya rounding out your top 20. But we've got a whole another page of these drivers to go. We've got Henrique Camara in at 21st, with Francisco Yasares in 22nd. Malte Schneider is going to join us in 23rd, with Dan Brecus in 24th. Jorge Lopez Izquierdo is going to join us on row 13, with Robert Obroda in 26th position. We got Nunya Honma is going to join us in 27th, with Ryan Robinson, a last driver to set the qualifying time, in 28th position. Then it's going to be Carlos Fonseca, Kurt Clapper, Emiliana Massari, Ray Farlow, and Tim Phillips rounding out your 33-car GTP field. Now to the GTOs, Craig.
Yeah, just to the GTOs. They start grinning. Yuka Leskola is the pole position. Noel Lundberg will be in second. Andre Schumacher will be third position, and Arturas Candelas will be fourth. Esko Letonemi will be fifth, and Andreas Salumba will take sixth. Mickey Friesen seventh, and Franco Scurry in eighth. And then it's Doug Cloud and Cam Porter ninth and 10th. They would like that together on the cameras all of a sudden. We go to the second page. David Lehman will be 11th, with Kevin Parrish 12th, and then it's Ian Haycox 13th. Sergey Glavin 14th. Josh Brain will be 15th, and Jamie Hamill-Smith 16th. Timothy Porter will be 17th. Nick Lanks will be the last time qualifier in 18th. Alejandro Silva Caray will be 19th. 19 GTOs, 33 GTPs.
52 cars total, and a 72-degree air temperature, 73 track temperature Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius for these drivers. Look at the wind though, Craig. 12 miles an hour out of the west. That's going to be a lot for them to deal with, but the cars are rolling. I've seen a lot of unknown names in the GTPs, drivers who haven't raced with us much before, at least in Top Split. In the GTOs, it looks like Cam has been able to convince his brother Timothy to join him today, so that'll be an interesting race. But Andres Valentejus is going to lead them to the line. It's a very quick pace lap. It's not even half the lap. It's just a quarter of the lap down the long back straight into the Wall of Champions, and then the pace car will pull off into the pits, and it's quite a quick start for them. So as they take this right and then left, it's now under control of Andreas Valentejus. Does he go early? Does he wait? He's waiting all the way to the line. The line's just before you get to the kink for turn 1, and he jumps early. Theodore Burns caught off guard just a little bit. Alexander Van Usse with a little bit of a better run. He's going to dive Burns into turn 1. It's Laust Olsen who's going to dive back as well, and a big crash in the back of the field as they get going. Will the GTOs make it through safe, Craig?
Well, let's just see. They come now into the chicane themselves. Leskola, Lundberg, Schumacher, Kundelis, they're all getting through. The front of the field is getting through nice and calm. In the back of the field, a little bit of 2x2 happening on, and you may just see a little green card there. Kundelis was looking to make the move. He's not going to make it. But behind, Letonemi is still holding off, but the GTPs are now through the first second chicane.
Yeah, we've already lost one car. Yunya Hoinma has gone back and is in the pits, unfortunately taking a tow. Looks like Andre Schumacher is sliding backwards in the GTOs quite a bit. Very slow for him, as he might have taken a cut course penalty on turn 1, but he's now all the way back down to 8th position. Quite a few drivers losing positions early on in this race, Craig.
Yeah, he did indeed take a cut course penalty there. He's going to have to go all the way back at the worst time to get a slowdown, and it's the start. Managed to recover, though. He is down in 8th position, but a really bad launch for him is going to hold him up. But here you see, now down the straight, look for anybody getting any advantage with the launch there. And there are a couple cars just in that midfield that may get a chance, but up ahead in the GTPs, the Cloud does get past Andrew Schumacher.
Absolutely, and further back in the GTPs is all the way back to 20th before they have an advantage, but these GTOs should have an advantage. Noel Lundberg right on the back of Yuka Leskola. This is probably going to be his best chance at a pass over the course of this race, and we're going to see whether or not he can get that done. Here is that battle going on with Yuka Leskola and Noel Lundberg. Lundberg did not get the greatest exit off of the hairpin, so unfortunately that's going to not give him the opportunity as they go into the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, it's all about that opportunity. It's getting the pace there, because the slipstream isn't that strong after a certain point in these cars. So you have to just hope that you can get the good run here. You start to see other drivers taking different lines. Kundelis there just almost taking what I call the IndyCar line, going off the racing line and then back onto it. But this is the close battle. and all of a sudden it is just a little bit too close there. Lundberg is catching up to Leskola in these slower sections, but when it comes to the top speed, he's struggling a little bit.
Looks like Alec Campbell got sent around off the nose of one of our drivers, and he's now all the way back to 22nd position. He's got some rear wing damage for him, so unfortunately Alec Campbell falling back in the GTPs. Laust Olsen's right on the back of Farron Grau as well. And throughout the field in the GTPs, especially further back, very tight together from about 20th on back, Craig. So a very condensed field towards the back of the GTPs, but towards the front, it's fairly spread out. But yeah, we see Laust Olsen trying to put that challenge on with Farron Grau, but this place is really hard to pass, Craig.
It is so tough to pass. I mean, you always talk about the issue with multi-class traffic, always splitting things up, with how close everybody is in these little pockets of groups right now. Expect that to just completely throw it open. Yes, there's only 19 GTOs, but 19's a usual number. When we see multiple splits, and 19 is a normal number here for a GTO field, so it doesn't feel like it's anything out of the unordinary for these drivers today. As you see, all nice and close up here, but just one GTP getting stuck behind a GTO, and all of a sudden we could see a little bit of impatience and a little bit of traffic issues.
Sorry, Craig, we had a misshift from Yuka Leskola. I thought Noah Lundberg was going to take the opportunity, but unfortunately he decided to back out, so it's not unfortunate. It was a strategy call for him, but looks like Yuka Leskola misshifted coming out of the Wall of Champions. He moved over to the left-hand side to give a lane for Noel because you don't want to get rear-ended in these GTOs. But Noel Lundberg, unfortunately, not able to capitalize on it. But that little mistake from Yuko and that lift from Noel has brought Arturas Kundelis back into this battle. We know how quick he is on early lap pace.
Yeah, Kundelis really good there. One thing I thought there for Lundberg, I actually thought that for Leskola, because of where he put the car, it didn't allow a chance to make an overtake into turn one regardless, because turn one's a left-hander. So while Leskola was holding that inside almost just to make sure there was going to be no contact, it was also just a little bit of defense there. I say that, he's just made a bit of a mistake coming out of the third chicane, sorry. Getting my numbers mixed up into the third chicane, but he does hold on. And you can just see the difference though when you look at those GTPs early in the GTO, what I was talking about when it comes to that curving.
Yeah, and we just saw some contact there between Gaston Santarelli and I believe it was Logan Edwards as they went through the Wall of Champions. They tried to go through there too wide, and as we talked about before the race, Craig, that didn't work out. Looks like Jorge Lopez Izquierdo has gone around. He's now gotten back going forward, but that was a mistake moment. Let's take a look at this replay of what happens with the beginning of the race.
Yeah, you start to see it a little bit tough just trying to get through, and already it almost looks like he just got on the throttle too early, but catching somebody out there, just losing the back of the car, getting on the throttle too early, just spins around. That is something that happens on cold tires regardless, but in these cars, there's so much power in these old cars. That can happen, and just to see, oh, it was a misshift.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a misshift.
And Matty Snyder tried to get out of the way, but couldn't quite get it done before the rest of the field came through, so that's why we saw that contact early on. Back live, though, we're going to take a look at what happened to Alec Campbell. This is his own wreck that happened earlier on. He's coming through the corner, and another misshift, it looks like. And he just slows down, unfortunately slides backwards. So we're going to take a look at what happened to one of our GTO competitors. This is Nick Lanks, and see what happens to him here.
I think it's a similar thing. No, this is going in a bit too hot there in that 42. Something I was talking about at the start of the race there is just getting a bit too hot into the corners for the Audis. Ryan Robinson, sorry, that's a tongue twister myself. You're going to see what happened there. I see a little bit of grass, and I did see a car going over the grass. It wasn't him, but realizes he's overshot it and just thought the safe thing to do is just wait. And then from one Robert to another, this is Abarota. He's going to try to go side by side into the chicane. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. And he gets it by, and then a little bit of a tap there. Trying to make the move, but did not have the speed there. Oh, no. That's a horrible place to spin.
Yeah, he gets stuck there. Here's Jorge Lopez Izquierdo. He's the one who has the biggest issue here. And yeah, he just takes it through the center of turn one, comes to a complete stop and keeps going. I'm not sure whether that actually pays the penalty in iRacing. Almost gets rear-ended, but fortunately keeps going. Our leaders in the GTPs, as we come back live, have just started to enter the traffic. Andreas Valenteus just made it past Malte Schneider, who is very slow in the GTPs. You can see him, he was just pulled off on the inside of the Wall of Champions there. But Theodore Burns falling back a little bit to this group. But that being said, Andres Valenteus is going to have a lot of work to do to get through these GTOs safely.
Yeah, and the delta's 10 seconds. So you got an idea there. 3 seconds up the road right now. It's a three-man group of Porter, Hamill Smith, and Grabham. And that just goes to show those three at the back of this field just goes to show how competitive it is today. He's going to have to struggle because they are all bunched up together. And we've seen now Shady Ahmad. He's in its own little battle right now with Jack Wells up ahead while those leaders go through the traffic. And you just start to see, this is what they're seeing at the moment, but in one more lap, Adam, he's not going to see GTPs in front of him.
No, he's going to see the GTOs, and that's going to be a real challenge for all of our drivers. Valenteus cutting through the traffic fairly well, but he's about to get up to the battle for 7th position, which is 7th all the way down to 14th. This is a 7-car battle. He's going to catch them probably at the worst time, which is going to be into the Wall of Champions. It's going to be a challenge to get through. We'll see how he navigates it. We're riding on board with Andres Valenteus, our leader in the GTPs. Let's see how he navigates this traffic.
Now, he might be able to get past 2 here, Adam. I think he may be able to get past Silva. Carride, he does. And can he get past Josh Brain? He does. Just gets it done, and he's got so much confidence under the braking. He's able to get that done, and that's going to just really help him because Theodore's going to get stuck behind those two going side by side. He's going to get past here. There's a David Lehman. He's going to get past as well. He's managed to get the best of the traffic that time by, but just because you got lucky this time doesn't mean you're going to get lucky next time.
And Theodore Burns is still trapped behind the battling Brain and Caride, and he's able to make it through. And now we've started to get our battling GTPs into those traffic as well. All the way down to Farron Grau in 5th position, now stuck into some of those battles. We see our drivers trying to navigate through all of this. We're riding on board now with Javier Delomo as he's trying to challenge Aaron Humphrey, but trying to do so through the traffic. And look at this, traffic up ahead is going to hold up Humphrey. Right behind Javier Delomo is Brendan Lim, who's able to sneak through. And look at this, Jamie Hamill-Smith and Timothy Porter battling each other in the GTOs, but they can't really battle because they've got the GTPs going by.
No, Delomo gets by. Hamill-Smith was trying to look to see if there was going to be an opportunity there. No. They can have a little bit of a breather now because they've gone past that. They're going to get to Josh Brain in 13th shortly after the hairpin, I think, is where they're going to see on the 007 camera with Aaron Humphrey there. He tries to catch up. Javier's right behind. Fabian Younglove is in front. This could be interesting because these two may get held up at the final chicane.
As is always the case with a hairpin, a sharp hairpin, it spreads out the battle just a little bit, making it even harder to pass. You can see Javier Delomo looking to the inside. They're trying to see what's up ahead of Aaron Humphrey so he doesn't run into the back of him, and he almost does once again. So through the 007 cam, they're about to streak by Josh Brain and Alejandro Silva Caride as they go by. Those two are battling for position, and man, it's just trying to survive at this point through the traffic, it looks like.
It is. Current objective is survive, and that's for both classes. And Salumba's here as well. He's in a battle trying to get up to Letanemi and just hold on. All these cars all in a line. It's going to be very tough for them because when they start getting these GTPs by, they're going to have to give some respect to the lines. There is Valenteus coming by. That line is taken. That does open it up there. Salumba cannot get by. They will look for a GTP just to open a hole for them. It's going to be tough, and especially in these chicanes, but there might be a hole opening to go for an overtake. And those some GTOs, they may be a little bit cheeky to take that hole.
Sliamba looking for a nose up the inside. He just gets his nose in there, and he's given room by Letaniemi. This should give him a good opportunity to get a decent exit, and he does. He's in the draft, but they've got Theodore Burns in 2nd position in the GTPs. It's going to streak by. Letaniemi unable to create a pick out of it, but they've got Arturos Kundalis up ahead that they're catching up with as well. Letaniemi is going to use that draft to stay out of reach of Sliamba. Sliamba doesn't want to make the attack into the Wall of Champions, but here they go streaking through. They've got Alexander Vandersand who's going to streak by as well in that GTP. We're running on board now with Kundalis looking back, and here is the overhead shot taking a look at all of the action going on. Looks like Kundalis might get held up a little bit through turn 1, and he does through turn 2. Letaniemi and Sliamba now right on the back of him.
Yeah, that little move there. Vandersand had to take that line, get that overtake done. And also, just notice, Salumba had really good speed mid-court, mid-chicane, but on the exit, he just lost everything there. So it looks like he's just getting on the throttle a bit too early as Laus Olsen then comes by around. And that also holds up the drivers because these they want to track out a little bit. They can't track out when you've got a GTP trying to make that move. It will happen again very shortly. Here comes Farron Grau. The inside for this little king's going to get taken away from them, and that just also gives an advantage to Letteremi. Once again, Fabian Youngblood will be next, and a little bit of a side, and a nice recovery.
Yeah, a little bit of contact between Letteremi and Grau. That allows Slioma to go alongside. Fabian Youngblood has nowhere to go. He's got a little bit of right rear wing damage, does Youngblood, but he's got absolutely nowhere to go with these two drivers side by side. Letteremi is going to be hard pressed to keep that Audi out of Slioma, and he manages to do it, but then the track shortens up once again, and they're nose to tail. Here goes Youngblood, finally free and clear, but he's lost 2 seconds to Farron Grau up ahead. Letteremi's going to try and duck into the draft of Youngblood. That's going to pull him along just a little bit, but that draft is going to break up a little bit. And look at the Slioma side by side as they go through the wall of champions. Letteremi has to back out of it and let Slioma go through, and that's going to hold up Aaron Humphries, who's behind them now.
Yeah, a little bit of a slide going into the corner there, and Letteremi knew it. It was a slowdown there, unfortunately for Salumba. He could not slow it down in time, so they're going to be taking this battle side by side into the Virage Center, and he managed to hold it, and a little bit of a mistake there for Letteremi, and he has to yield to let Del Olmo come through. He doesn't have to yield, but just to keep everybody alive, he gets Del Olmo by, and all of a sudden, Letteremi was looking at trying to fight for third. He's now looking to defend fifth.
You may have wondered why Del Olmo did not go for that move on Sliuma there through that kink. That is Del Olmo knowing how the GTO works. The GTO is going to take it into that corner very aggressively, and he manages to stay behind the GTO and not make contact. So a good move there from Javier Del Olmo to hang on. But Mickey Friesen now. This has really separated the battle with all these GTPs coming through. With 52 cars on track, well, it's not 52 anymore. It looks like it's about 47. With 47 cars left on track, Craig, it's a hard thing to do to keep out of each other.
And I'm just looking at the track map, Adam. I don't see a clean piece of tarmac. Oh, a little moment there going around the outside. That was Craytrick going around the outside. Letteremi there. There isn't a lot of clear track at the moment, even though the top 7, of GTPs are now through the traffic for the first time. They're going to have to navigate GTP traffic shortly, so they are going to be constantly alert here on the street circuit. You're not going to get a rest for the next 25 minutes.
An important note, Noah Lundberg has not lost Jukka Leskala through the traffic so far. They're only through 8th position in the GTP, so they still have over 25 GTPs to go here. But Jukka Leskala not able to run away from Lundberg today so far.
And we've seen this before. Leskala has dominated the series, but at the same time, he's not had it dominance like Javier Del Olmo. That's not a knock at Leskala, of course. It's just, this shows how strong it had been recently. Yes, Leskala takes the accolades, he takes the championship, but look how close it has been. I can't think of a race where he's had a lead of more than 10 seconds. In fact, I almost want to say more than 5 seconds. All through last season, I don't think he had a victory more than 5 seconds.
No, Yuko didn't, but a couple of other drivers got a benefit if Yuko wrecked out, but Yuko's always up there battling, so it's no surprise to me that he's got some competitors up there. Noah Lundberg, though, he was top 5 material all last season. It would be amazing to see him take some wins in this series, but unfortunately he's got drivers like Jukka Leskala and Andres Valenteus and Topi Kortaniemi to deal with. Topi's not here today, and Valenteus is in the GTP, so it's just Yuko who's his competitor. But you can see it's enough of a competitor for him at this point. We're riding on board with Shady Ahmad as he's still battling with Martin Krajcik. This traffic really playing havoc with any opportunity that these drivers have to try and make passes.
Yeah, and now that they're free of traffic again, they've got a couple laps to just try and battle this out. And I say a couple laps. P18 in the GTOs is currently coming down to the hairpin. So half the track is the gap between these cars right now that we're seeing there and those GTOs. So you just now start to see it's a little battle now of attrition. Dirty air will be playing a factor now. The track, still a nice little cool 24 Celsius, 76 Fahrenheit. That does sound cool, I gotta be honest. And it's still just one of those that they're having to be patient on the throttle still. And I wonder if that's just a case of who gets on the throttle quickest and safest might be the one winning this.
Absolutely. Taking a look once again at our leader, Andres Valenteus, as he's coming down to the Wall of Champions once again. A great drive so far for him. 4.5 seconds over last week's winner, Theodore Burns. If Valenteus can get this done, that would be 2 dominant victories for him back-to-back at 2 extremely challenging circuits. One challenging just because of the circuit itself, and the other challenging because of the amount of traffic that we have around here. 52 cars, and like you said, Craig, there are no brakes. But Farron Grau has come into the pits from 5th position. He's got major right side damage, Craig.
Well, we'll have a look to see what's happened here to Farron Grau. You can start to see it now. Oh, that's very, very pushed up on that rear. Wouldn't be surprised if he's had a hit, probably with the wall.
It was the wall. It was the wall of champions the previous lap. He jumped over all the curbs and did not manage to keep the car under control. It bounced on him into that outside wall, and he's taking damage repairs.
I think that will be his race done, because that's going to be a lot of repairs on a track with a lap time of a 1:25. You're not going to get a lot. You're not going to get a lot done here. So we're on board now with the number 9 of Jack Wells, who hasn't done a lot of racing in the IMSA Vintage series, but he's doing racing elsewhere in historic races, and he's really doing well here. Started 12th, he's currently 9th position, really showing his worth coming away from the HPDs and into these cars. He's really just now gelling with these prototypes, and on a track like this, that's what you need. You need to almost be one with the downforce around here, Adam.
Absolutely, and it's no surprise to me that Jack Wells has improved this much. It usually takes about 3 seasons for a driver to get comfortable with these cars to get to a competitive pace, and that's, I mean, Jack Wells has been racing on and off in the GTPs for quite a few seasons, but this is the 3rd season I can remember of where he's been consistent and competitive, and so that doesn't surprise me one bit. Jack Wells doing a great job down there in that 9th position. Down in the 4th position in the GTOs, Andreas Liumba still putting challenges to drivers. He's been the only driver to make a decent amount of passes today. He's up 2 spots from his starting position and is now trying to battle with Arturas Kundelis for a spot on the roster.
Yep, finding one green car, and you talk about positions gained. Ian Haycox in another green car has made up 4 positions. We'll look at him later on, but he is starting to go, Isolum, but he really just tries to catch up, really just looking for those opportunities, and it's so tough here because, again, there's a little kink there. We talked about it at the start of the race, Adam. There's a little kink there on that straight. You cannot make a move there. The moment the lead car goes for a decision point there at that kink, you cannot go for another move. You have to be there so early. And this is now Cam Porter. You see as well those issues as he comes by. He's currently in a battle with Franco Scurry. That's a name we haven't said for a while as well. Comes over a little bit of a correction there. Gets it under there. I thought for a moment Cam was going to lose the rear of that car.
Absolutely. And Franco Scurry looked like he was a little bit loose as well. But here we go. Looking like Cam in a pretty decent position, and I believe he's changed house. I'm going to have to ask him about that if he jumps onto an interview with us, but his rig in a new room, it looks like, and he's battling right now with Franco Scurry. Looks very calm and collected at the moment, duking it out with one of the driver favorite drivers out there, Franco Scurry. Ciao tutti, Franco.
Yeah, one of the favorite drivers, and of course Cam Porter, one of our favorites for the web cameras. And of course, you do come on a GSRC broadcast, feel free to provide your web cameras and your own driving perspectives. We always like seeing it. A lot of steering there, even with the round wheel on a car like that. You still have to put a lot of steering in, and I think it's fantastic and maybe helpful for your wrist that you've got a full round wheel and not a formula wheel today. And I thought for a moment Cam would have had a really good run. He does not. He just goes for the fake just to see if Franco's going to bite. Franco doesn't. He holds on, and they both keep it at the wall.
Franco taking very aggressive lines through the wall of champions. Cam Porter a little bit more conservative. We got Emilio Massari, who's going to streak by right now. That's going to cut off Cam's entry to the corner, and it looks like Emilio's going to put pin in the apex of Franco Scurry as well. So this is actually going to hold up Cam Porter significantly off the apex, unfortunately. And that's going to allow Emilio to go side by side with Franco through the dip. This is just a little bit of a misstep there.
A little bit of a misstep there, a little bit of miscommunication as well. This actually holds up Cam more than it would hold up Franco. So Scurry is going to have to go. A little tap there. Was that a little tap I just saw there? I think Cam's all right. But just again, drivers just getting a little bit impatient out there, just needing it to calm down a little bit through here. And Cam, I think at the moment, he's had one issue, he's had two issues, he's going to have a third issue. He's not having it all his way out there as a little GTO in a field of GTPs.
Another battle I've been watching is 9th place between Ian Haycox, Doug Cloud, and David B. Lehman. These three are nose to tail, and while they may not be separated by all that, while they may not be super close together, Doug Cloud taking it very deep into the corner of the apex there. David B. Lehman with a good opportunity, but Ian Haycox and Doug Cloud have raced together side by side for quite a few times. Looks like Andreas Sliumba had Arturas Kundelis for a time, but then lost that position. But look at these two drivers, Doug Cloud and Ian Haycox, as they're duking it out. That's Doug on the left and Ian on the right. Ian in the festive spirit. That is not a yellow flag that's blinking for him. That's a yellow fern that's blinking for him.
Look, you make do of what you can to put up the Christmas tree lights. If you've got a fern, you put it up. If you've got a roof, if you've got a bottle, you put whatever you can for the Christmas tree light. This is now Doug Cloud on board with him. No Christmas tree lights at the moment. We got a pedal cam once again as we see that plank of wood just giving him that little support that he likes to help him prevent any issues when shifting heel toe. And you start to see it's got a little bit of wear to it, and he's one of the sock gang. I'm not a sock gang member myself, but each to their own, and that's the beauty of sim racing, Adam. You can race how you want. Are you a sock or you a shoe man?
I wouldn't put my camera on if that gives you an indication. But that being said, Javier Del Olmo in a battle himself with Aaron Humphreys. He's tucked in behind. Javier, who is last year's GTP Championship, has been struggling to get off the ground this season. Last week, he was in a similar place, around 6th position he finished. And Javier Del Olmo tucked in now behind Aaron Humphrey, battling for that 6th position today on track. The GTP field has really brought their floor today, and this season, it looks like.
But at the same time, this is almost like iRacing version of Monaco. You cannot make an overtake around here. You have to really get the run. And if you've got constant traffic almost at every chicane, and then you've got traffic all bunched up together at the start of a race, how's Javier going to make the moves? Again, Jack Wells, Craigtrid, they've made +4 this race. Brilliant. But at these tight battles, it's so tough to make those moves. Javier, it's not a case of Javier struggling out there. It's a case of Javier can't find the space to make the overtake. And again, you think he'd get a good run here, he can't. Josh Brain's right in front after both of these cars.
Absolutely, and it has less to do with the traffic and more to do with just the nature of this course. A lot of long straights followed by sharp hairpins that have very little room for maneuvering. And that really creates the issues around here when it comes to passing. We've seen it season over season, and oftentimes when Formula One comes to this track, they use the DRS for that, but we don't have DRS here on these GTPs. So there's no opportunity to give the car behind a chance to make a pass via any sort of reduced aerodynamics, I should say.
Yeah, and of course, these cars never drove around here in the real world, as we see Fonseca. He's made up a lot of positions as well. I've just seen Van der Sande getting taken out there from Retinemi, and it was a miscommunication by both of them.
Absolutely, that's P3 in the GTPs, and Retinemi, who is P5. Oh, no, this contact with Ian Haycox, that's huge!
That is not that. I don't think Van der Sande realized the steering was that broken. He tried to get rolling, and I don't think he realized the steering was that bad. And he went straight into Ian Haycox. Here's the GSR. They see replays. They come by into the hairpin, and you'll start to see that is a slow car. And then just a little tap there. Not what he wanted to do as Van der Sande. He rolls away. Now he waits for traffic. He spins it round. He's safe, but he doesn't realize the steering. He tries to get on the throttle, the wheel goes, and that's a massive hit. It wasn't broken steering, Adam. He spun the tires.
Yeah, just unfortunately a little bit of urgency trying to get going. Once you spin in those GTPs, those tires get super hot, and there's nothing you can really do about it. But Ian Haycox now, major right front damage for him as he's driving along. Doug Cloud, who's been battling with him, is gonna have an easy pass to make on him. Here is Brendan Lim, though. Brendan is tucked in behind this battle as well. You're going to come up on Ian Haycox and Doug Cloud through a couple of corners, but look at all the traffic Brendan's having to navigate right now.
Yeah, look at all the traffic he's having to navigate. This traffic's also forced up Aaron Humphrey and Javier Del Olmo getting close together up ahead, but these guys battling on. There is a lapped GTP between Wells and Lim, and that's Alec Campbell right beside. Going to try and let them by. He's very damaged. That's not the best place to let them by, and he's holding everybody up. Just making this move. He's trying to pull off to one side, bless him. But it right there at the chicane was not the right way to go. This opens up Krajcik and Barra Ruiz as well for a move. Don't expect to see any move here. He does not. Up ahead, Let's trying to get around the outside of Scurry.
Yeah, Let's trying to recover from Franco Scurry and is able to get by him, but here is Brendan Lynn and Martin Krajcik, Hamilton, Burrow, Ruiz also tucked in behind him. They're all going to come upon these GTOs, hopefully pass them before the World Champions. It's going to be Lynn who's going to be able to make it by. Krajcik is going to be able to make it by. Burrow Ruiz is not going to be able to make it by. It's going to be side by side to the corner. More contact with Letanimi. He climbs over the curb. Burrow Ruiz is going to have to stay behind him. And look at this. Letanimi stays over to the right-hand side, holding up Ruiz. Ruiz loses a second.
Ruiz wasn't held up there. He just thought he would move over. He could not move over. Wasn't expecting a slow time there. Krajcik, he went desperate there. He tried to make that move. He tried to squeeze into a hole that was not there. These cars are not skinny, and unfortunately, he just missed out there. And frankly, that wasn't a big accident to get by. But Franco Scurry now, he is in a lot of trouble.
Franco is what we call getting mobbed. In the IMSA Vintage series. When you are a little slow in the GTOs and you're unable to take your ideal line, look who's getting mobbed up ahead. That's Escaleta Niemi getting absolutely swarmed by Shady Ahmad and Gaston Santorelli, who are battling for 11th position. And he's able to sneak it through without getting any damage. But my goodness, some of the GTPs, like you said, getting a little desperate. Speaking of desperate, Javier Del Olmo still, oh, look at this. Escaleta Niemi way deep through the corner, but here is Javier Del Olmo. He's still trying to make that pass on Aaron Humphrey, and he's got a good opportunity now.
Yeah, here he goes. He's looking for that move right now. Can he make this move pull off? He may be, yes, and now Aaron Humphrey's in front. What can he do on the run down? He cannot get it by. Franco Scurry, by the way, in those GTOs we were looking at before he went, he tried to make the move into the hairpin, had to go around the outside, and he could not. He's going to try and do this now into the straight. He's on the left. He's on the inside line. This is going to be tough. Letanemi's going to fight this side by side. They go. There's still some overlap. Letanemi's had to yield, and that technically is around the outside by Franco Scurry. Yes, a damage Letanemi there, but a great move, and more swamping there. And Parrish is about to make that move on Letanemi.
Gotta be careful when you're battling side by side through the Wall of Champions. We saw it before. Look at that. Letanimi taking it very deep into turn one, but he's forced a little bit wide there by Franco Scurry. It's such tight battling between these drivers. The GTO's absolutely going at it today.
GTOs are going at it, and can you blame them? This is a track that, while we talked about the issues with it, it kind of suits these cars. Tin Top's fantastic around here, just for the ways and different styles you can get around here. How much curb do you want to cut? How much speed do you want to take? How much speed do you want to lose? It's just fantastic in these cars, and you've got three little GTOs in a pond right next to a rowing course.
Absolutely, the GTO is going to get split up a little bit here by one of the lapping GTPs. That's Malte Schneider. A little bit of contact there between Parrish and Letanimi. This is going to allow Franco Scurry to scurry away, and Parrish and Letanimi are going to be left to battle it between each other. The GTP battle between Del Olmo and Humphrey has been broken up just a little bit there. And speaking of battles, Noah Lundberg, about 10 minutes ago, lost about 2 seconds to Nico Lesko, and Lesko has been running away with it ever since. Out to 6 seconds is the lead for Lesko.
Yep, great run there from Lesko as well. And now you just start to see as some of these cars go by. Look at that gap as well. On board, though, with Lesko as he's just driving now. And just again, look how much feed you can get. This is my worst corner on the track. Can you get on the throttle as early as you want? Just avoid the wall there into that turn 5 into 6 and 7, and now down into 8 and 9. The third of these chicanes. He gets it by nicely, but what a gap. 6.2 seconds, and just see how he's been pulling and pulling just a little bit, and then lap 17 and lap 18 he put the hammer down.
Absolutely. And Lesko, known for having great end-of-race pace. We're under the 10-minute mark, 8:50 to go on the clock for these drivers, and Lesko's late race pace has always been something that has been a challenge for any driver to defeat if they're not ahead, and he's been able to put the pressure on multiple times. You see a little bit of left front damage there, probably from taking some of the curbs, but Lesko right now in a really good position. Looks like the battle between Javier Del Olmo and Aaron Humphrey might come together a little bit. They were trying to go around Timothy Porter, and Humphrey got held up a bit.
Yeah, Humphrey got held up a bit. The lap time showed as well. Del Olmo's looking for that move. He tried to get desperate there. He looked to go for an opportunity. Was not there. There is another GTO in front. It's Yuko Lescala. They're not going to catch up to him before the first chicane here. That's all right. Can they get by to the second chicane? Well, look how tough it is now if they try to get by. Was that a tap of the wall, though, by Lescala? Maybe. Everything's all right at the moment. Just see some smoke, but no issues at this moment. Get by both of them. Can they push on? This is now where Del Olmo, if he has to look for his patience, he's got to go for his patience. Humphrey tapped the wall. Look for any damage on Humphrey when they come to the straight.
And just up ahead of them, about 2 seconds, is Fabian Newbooth as well. So Fabian Newbooth in really interesting possession. I believe Aaron Humphrey just kicking up some dirt around the track right now. Del Olmo looking for a good opportunity to get a good exit off of the corner. Look how close he gets behind. But, you know, we were talking, Craig, about what you thought the best exit was for this corner. As you could see, Del Olmo unable to gain time on Humphrey by taking that wider line. So carrying speed in that corner, even in the GTPs, they just don't have the grip coming out of it to hang on to it. But look at this closing on braking. Del Olmo definitely has quicker race pace, but Humphrey able to get on the exits enough to keep Del Olmo behind.
You know, I wonder if that's a little bit of like muscle memory in the GTO, taking a different line in the GTO there, and that might be it. By the way, Letanemi, you just saw there, he comes out the pit, he had to take some repairs for that damage that happened to him. I do wonder if that's the reason why they're almost taking that line in the hairpin. It just feels like that's kind of a tin top line for a GT car, so it does make you wonder as Dan Brex go by, because look at just how he's got the confidence around here, just getting so close. We see Aaron, he kicks up the dirt. Javier, if there was wing mirrors on the sides of these cars, I think he wouldn't have any wing mirrors halfway through this race.
Well, that's why they put them on top of the cars. First off, for the drivers to be able to see them out of their peripheral, but also so that they don't get clipped off when they're driving through. We see that issue when other tin top cars go racing. They actually clip each other's mirrors off over the course of the race. But as you can see, Del Olmo trying to square off the corner a little bit more. The issue coming when he gets on the exits, but as you can see, he just can't seem to close that gap. Most of our gaps at this point have been spread out throughout the field. This is our closest battle on track.
Yeah, there are some of a gap of just about over a second and everything, but that's about it, over a second. These guys with just 5.5 minutes left in the race, they are going to have to keep fighting. They're about to start lap 25. We're looking at 29 laps for the GTPs, minus a couple, maybe 3 for the GTOs, and you get a good idea, as they're all going to get held up by a lapped car as well. That's Ray Farlow, that car there, who just pulls off to the side. No, he doesn't. He is going to now just break off. A little bit of hesitation there. Does that make a mistake? It does. Humphrey's gone off wide.
Yeah, but the question is, can Javier Del Olmo capitalize? The answer is yes. Humphrey has to take a cut course penalty, and that moves Del Olmo up and frees him up to try and challenge Fabian Newbooth in the last 5 minutes of this race. Look for Del Olmo to try and close that 2-second gap up to Newbooth to get up there. Update on our leaders. Andres Valenteus in the lead by about 10 seconds over Theodore Burns, who right on board with Valentinus right now from pole to pole so far. Has not taken the victory yet. Still got quite a ways to go and quite a bit of traffic to navigate in that car. Yuko Lescala on the back half of the course, actually pretty much opposite of where Andreas is at the moment. Lescala has been duking it out with Noah Lundberg over the course of the race, but has now pulled 8.5 seconds. Noah Lundberg having burnt up his stuff early on in the race, so Lescala out to a fantastic lead at the moment. Looks like Logan Edwards has gone around, Craig.
Yeah, Logan Edwards, he's gone around.
Contact with Lescala Letaniemi.
Oh, not good. In fact, Logan Edwards, he lost control of the car, and then Letanemi went into him, nowhere to go, and in fact almost caught another driver off, which I think that was Di Miguel there as well. So they're in the wall as well. I did see a couple other drivers have a moment. I think Ray Farlow and Dan Breckers came together after a mistake from Farlow as well. So it's all just happening at the end of this race with just under 4 minutes left to go. Apologies. Anything can happen in the back of the field. It's all getting a little bit chaotic. On board with the GSRC replay.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna see Logan Edwards, and he actually just drifts it through this corner. You'll see this. Just drifts it, loses the car, it snaps on him, and he makes contact with the outside wall and tries to get off track, but ends up clipping Escalante-Niemi. And then that was the 44 of Alejandro Martin de Miguel, who was able to sneak his way through. That was really close for him, but he managed to get through without any contact. Let's take a look at it from his perspective.
Just see this, around he goes. He's going to try and avoid this. Now he sees the car spinning, he slows down. That little tap, I think, saved him. I think that was almost like a parting of the seas moment for him. See, I think if that didn't happen, I think he would have been in that wreck. That little tap there at the end by Letteremi just allowed it to open. I think he may want to buy a lottery ticket because I think he just got lucky.
Riding up board with Matty Snyder as he approaches this really fast, and he's able to survive it. A good avoidance from him to be able to get through that. I can report that live pictures looks like Ian Haycock's his engine just could not make it after that heavy contact that he had with Alexander Van der Sant. So he unfortunately blew his engine and he's out of the race now.
And a crazy thing, that incident for Letteremi actually gave him a DQ for incident limit. Something that's very rare to see, but again, with the tight walls here, with the amount of traffic, it's one of those things that you can expect to see. Because again, to quote that old meme that everyone uses from Jolyon Palmer, you've got to be alert on a street track, and people forget sometimes this is technically a street circuit.
Absolutely, it's bumpy. It feels like a street circuit. The walls are super close, and you can see the battles going on right now. We have this battle between Brendan Lim, Martin Kritrick, and Hamilton Barrera-Ruiz. We're going to take a look at the replay here of Ian Haycock's engine expiring. Let's listen to it here. And there it goes, and there's nothing he can do at that point. The engine's gone. He's just got to pull it over and call it a day.
That's the worst feeling in the world. And also on the braking for the hairpin as well is just not good. Let's just see for the smoke, and you'll just start to see very shortly the smoke comes in, pop it goes, there it goes, and it's just a couple puffs, and that's all you need to see, and that is the sign of the end of your race.
Yeah, and that just came from the damage that he got from Alexander Van der Sant, unfortunately. But taking a look at the number 11 of Fabian Jungbluth, he's only got 1.5 seconds back to Javier Del Olmo. But Andres Valenteus is about to come up to the white flag. He's on the back half of the course right now. Fabian Jungbluth about 20 seconds behind him. But he better keep going. He better not get caught up by any traffic, Jungbluth. Otherwise, he's going to get caught by Del Olmo. But here is Valenteus going through the hairpin one more time. That's Henrique Camara down in 15th position, a couple laps back. Andres Valenteus going to streak by Arturas Kundelis, who's currently sitting in the 4th position. Andreas Sliumba up there about 2 seconds ahead of Arturas Kundelis. But here comes Andres, going to give a wide berth to Sliumba through the Wall of Champions and put a little bit of easy power down. He's going to streak on to the white flag here for our leader in the GTPs.
And now the question is, well, 16 seconds is the gap between Salumba and Leskala. I don't think Leskala is going to be caught. He's going to have to do another lap here, I feel. Lundberg may get caught at the end of this lap, so that could be interesting. Leskala may be taking a lap all by his lonesome at the end of this race, but what a dominance it's been there for Yuko, knocking on wood as I say that, because it's just been fantastic. He put in a 1:35.011. He's been knocking on that 134 door. Does he have the space? Well, if he's got white flag all by himself, Adam, I think he may get a 34.
I mean, he's done a 33 earlier this race, so it's no surprise. He did a 33 flat, which is the fastest time on the board for any of the GTOs. So no surprise to see him coming out of the final of the chicane and going to head towards the Wall Champions to start his victory lap, I believe, because Andres Valenteus is going to catch Noah Lundberg. He's coming off, Valenteus coming off of the hairpin right now, and Noah Lundberg is just up ahead of him. You'll see that GTO just up ahead. That's Lundberg. That's second position in the GTOs. Valenteus goes by. Leskala is going to take to the white right now. And Valenteus is going to pull up right behind him and win this race in the GTP so long as he makes it to the Wall Champions last time. Gets quite close to the wall. But Andres Valenteus crossing the line and winning the race for the GTPs. A great finish for him. And Yuka Leskala on his victory lap all alone. A close battle in 17th position between Farron Grau and Carlos Fonseca. Farron Grau able to pull it out for the position. Carlos Fonseca, actually, I don't know who finished ahead of who.
Kundelas had a moment, though. Kundelas had a moment on the final lap, the final corner, and you can see the anger here. Just watch this on the GSRC replay. He's not in a battle here. He isn't battling anybody, and he thinks he may have a shot with how the braking goes, and he just clipped too much of the inside curve there. There goes the car, goes around into the wall. The lightest to taps. He's going to lose a couple positions. He actually finishes 5th. These are all lap cars. He gets by, but you can just feel that frustration on the final corner, and that looked like a podium just gone.
That was a podium just gone. 3rd position, and he just loses it. Andreas Stanisla's going to climb up there to the 3rd spot, and you can see his frustration as he jumps up over there. But Jukka Leskala is coming down the back straight for the final time. Our leader in the GTO is trying to put in a quick lap to end this out. He's really been pushing this lap, but a victory lap for Leskala, the only driver on track for the GTOs. He crosses the line and wins it today, commanding victory for Leskala. Well, we're going to take a short break here on GSRC, but don't go anywhere. We'll have the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to round 2 of the IMSA Vintage Series here on GSRC. We have a fantastic race here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve with a couple of early incidents, one of which you're seeing in the background there. Andres Valenteus finishes in the 1st position, winning the GTP race and also regaining his 9K rating. Congratulations to Andres. Theodore Burns finishes in 2nd position, 12 seconds back, with Laus Olsen unable to catch Theodore over the course of the race, 17 seconds back up the leader in 3rd. Fabian Jungbluth fell quite a ways back up the top 3 in 4th position, almost falling into the clutches of Javier Del Olmo, who was able to get past Aaron Humphrey late in the race to try and put a challenge to Jungbluth, but didn't quite make it there. Aaron Humphrey finished in 6th. Jack Wells finishing in a great position, climbing up 2 positions from when we talked about him in the race up to 7th spot with Brendan Lynn in 8th. Martin Krejcik finishes in the top 10 with Hamilton Barrera Ruiz rounding it out in 10th position rather. Gaston Santarelli able to climb pretty far up the grid to 11th position with Shady Ahmad having a pretty decent race in 12th spot. We have Alejandro Martin Di Miguel who's going to finish in 13th position with Ivan Enrique Pla, the last driver on the lead lap. Out of 32 GTPs, only 14 finished on the lead lap. The rest of the drivers finished a lap down. Henrique Camara, Francisco Urias, Farron Grau, Carlos Fonseca, and Kurt Clapper in 19th spot with Amelia Massari in 20th. And then we get more drivers a lap down. Ray Farlow, Daniel Perez Hoya, Dan Breckus and Tim Phillips, the first driver, 2 laps down. And then we have drivers who had problems throughout the rest of the race. Alec Campbell, Logan Edwards, Malte Schneider, and then the rest of the drivers did not finish. But Craig, talk to me about the GTOs today.
Well, GTOs is going to be interesting as well, just as we just finish it off. Remember, Yuka Leskala was a lap ahead of everybody, so the timings are not going to be interesting here. Because, look, he wins it by a lap by everybody, but, of course, didn't get lapped. He put the fastest lap in on the last lap. Lowell Lundberg will be second. Salumba gets third, and Friesen gets fourth, because, unfortunately for Kindelis, a mistake on the final corner cost him the third, and he goes down to 5th position. Cam Porter got the better of Doug Cloud as he finishes 6th, with Cloud finishing in 7th. And Kevin Parrish with a very nice 8th place, before Jamie Hamill-Smith made 7 spots up to 9th, and David Lehman at 10th. And then it will be Sergey Graben will be 11th position, with Alejandro Silva Caraid in 12th. In Haycox, though, 4 laps down. He had that incident there in 13th, and Timothy Porter as well. 5 laps down in 14th. But let's go Lessenemi. We did see that twice, unfortunately for him. In the end, was DQ'd for incident limits in 15. Josh Brain was a retiree in 16th, as was Franco Scurry. Andre Schumacher was a retiree 8 laps down. And Nick Lanks, we saw early incident to start the race. He finishes 22 laps down.
All right, so we've got a couple of drivers here to talk to us today. Laus Olsen will be the first one to join us. Laus, it was a pretty epic race out there with 52 cars on track. First time you're talking to us this season. Talk us through how it was for you out there with such a tight track and such tight confines.
Yeah, it was from my point of view, it was quite okay. I find this track relatively easy. Multiclass, in respect with multiclass, we don't have these corners with huge speed differential, so it's either you stay behind through the chicane and pass on the next straight, or if you are close enough, you can pass into the corner, but you don't get these I would say hairy moments you get on other tracks. So for me, the traffic worked quite well. Then I had a great fight with Ferran in the beginning of the race. We were evenly matched pace-wise, I think, but looked like he was beginning to struggle a little bit with grip, and then he ran wide in the hairpin, and we had quite a drag race down towards the final chicane. I almost closed my eyes when we entered the braking zone. That was quite exciting. But yeah, good racing, and enjoyed it very much today.
Well, Laust, I mean, it was epic out there. I know that the name change has caught a lot of drivers out, but the racing still amazing and just fantastic fields out there. What are your feelings going into this season? Are you trying to take this approach it in a different way, more of the same? What's your approach to this season as a whole?
As usual, trying to minimize my own mistakes and stay out of trouble. I'm afraid to jinx anything, but actually the beginning of this season has, except for one or two races, have been quite good to me. So I hope I can keep that up for the remainder of the season. That's the goal, at least.
Well, Laust, congratulations on yet another podium here in the IMSA Vintage Series, and we look forward to seeing you at Magellan next week.
Yeah, thanks. We'll be there, definitely.
That was Laust Olsen, our third place finisher in the GTPs, and talking to Cam Porter in the GTOs is Craig. Cam finished in 6th.
Yeah, Cam Porter here made up 4 positions to take 6th position. There's that smiling face. Yeah, 6 positions, 4 positions gained for 6th. Cam, it looked like you were having a fantastic battle there with Doug in the middle part of that race. It looked like it was nip and tuck there.
Yeah, that was a pretty thrilling race, especially with Doug and Franco. They had pretty good pace. I was surprised that I was able to keep up with those guys. Normally they have a little more pace than I do, but I guess I picked up a little bit of speed since the race from yesterday. I tried a different setup, so thanks to Yuri Geisen for sharing his setup. I tried his today, and it seemed to work out pretty well. I'm thrilled with this 6th place.
Yeah, I think anyone would be through with P6 gaining 4 positions around here with the track it is. This has been a very chaotic race because, again, we had 52 entries and there were only 19 of you little GTOs and there were 33 of those big cars. That must have been a little bit of a nightmare going when you had multi-car traffic going by.
Yeah, like a lot of the veterans, if I see some new names, it kind of grit my teeth and you're a little bit worried about new people that may not necessarily know about the speed difference between the two classes. So that's one thing you need to be careful about and wary about. New drivers are welcome, of course, but we always have to keep it in the back of my mind that they may not necessarily have the experience between the two classes. So we just have to be careful.
So, of course, we go to next week. It's a brand new track. It's Mugello. Have you done any driving in any other car around? No, you're going to say no. I can see your face. You're going to say no. You've not done any driving around here before. So it's going to be all practice for you this week, is it?
No, I don't necessarily do a lot of practice. Usually I do the 30-minute practice before the race. When I bought Mugello, I did do a handful of just learning the track laps. But I don't anticipate doing a lot of practice. I have raced Mugello quite a bit. Many years ago in a different sim, did a lot of laps at Mugello, did a lot of races actually, so that was long enough that I kind of forgot the track. Do a handful of, refresh my memory laps, and then just do usually I just do the 30-minute practice before the race.
If that's all you need, that's all you need. So I just want to say, because the guys have been asking, that is definitely a shirt for those wondering. It does say he makes sawdust. Now, Cam, you got to promise me no sawdust for Christmas. No, you're done now for Christmas, please. No more sawdust? Yeah, no more sawdust. And also, one thing I've got to say, we're having a bit of a laugh because there was another porter in the race, Timothy Porter. I don't know if you noticed that. Just a shame what happened to him. Just to confirm, that's not a name, that's not a relation.
That is my brother.
It is.
Yeah, so he races the Lotus 49 as well as the Audi in the IMSA Vintage series, formerly Camel GT. He's tries to do his best and get out of trouble, but trouble seems to find him quite a bit. So keep it up to him.
Yeah, trouble does seem to find it. It's the ebbs and flows of the racing. Cam, sorry, congratulations on your P6. 4 positions gained today. That was Cam Porter, P6 in the GTOs, Adam.
Absolutely, and that's going to wrap us up for today. We want to give a big thank you to our team here at GSRC. That's Craig, Ryan, and Dougie. You also want to make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss out on a moment here on GSRC. Next race for the IMSA Vintage Series is going to be Mugello. That's Saturday, December 30th at noon Eastern. Also be sure to check out our other broadcasts that are listed here on your screen. We hope that you've enjoyed joining us today as much as we've enjoyed bringing this racing to you, and we hope to see you back again next week. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.
Wow.